Hey everybody, this is Dal Stone here doing a Let's 3D model, and today is kind of like a special episode because of you guys have hit 500 subscribers now, so I want to kind of do something fun today, so today I'm going to be creating just a fun model. I'm going to be making the super old school Pokemon Center, the Poke Center here, so that's what I'll be doing today. Just kind of like for fun, and just kind of like show you guys the process of how I would go about creating the Pokemon Center. So I mean, like I said, I'll be doing the old school one. No one's really done like a 3D rendition of what they think this would look like, so I figured it might be fun for me to kind of get my ideas of what I think that would look like if it was turned into a 3D model. So that's what I'll be doing today for you guys. So I'm gonna start off by kind of breaking down, the pieces in this for that building. So first I'm gonna create just a cube, obviously, and I'm going to, let's see here. So I'm just gonna get this to align right to the ground there. Just gonna move this. Why is it doing that? Come on, there. And I'm going to import in just like a scale, so I can kind of tell how big everything is. Where is that? So 3D art and import. I always import the Unity man scale as like a reference. So obviously this is huge. So I need to scale this way up. And where's the man scale? I'm just gonna shove this back so I can see where he is. So the door, it's about, I'd say 2. So a door would be, let's say, this height, right? So it's about 2. Yeah, so I mean, obviously these are rough. I don't have the measurements for the Pokemon Center, obviously. So that's about the size of the door, I believe. And so let's just center this a little bit more. So it's probably about that for the door, and it's about, it looks like it's about, it's a little bit less than that on this side, like it's kind of like that. And then for the door, it's probably 1, 2, so it's definitely, I'm just looking at the image on my left screen here, and it's gonna be like, so this is the door, it's about 1, 2 more door spaces. And like I said, I mean, I don't have to be exact or anything like that. This is just a little fun experiment that I'm doing. So but I want to try and get it as close as possible to it. So here we go. So we got that. So that's like the width, and then now we need the height. So it's about half a door's length, it looks. So it's like kind of like that, kind of all the way through. This is just like a brick. And then there's another kind of height here. This is just windows. And then there's a roof. Now in this orthographic or kind of like dimension that they kind of have, it looks like the roof is kind of like this. Sorry about that. That's just my phone there. Just gonna put that away. It looks kind of like that, right? That's how it kind of looks like inside the game. So I think we will keep it like that as well, right? So yeah, so let's go with that. Let's go that that's what it looks like scale wise. Obviously, this should probably be moved back a bit more. I feel like there's more room than it looks. Like I feel like the Pokemon Center would probably be a lot bigger. But for now, we'll leave it as is, and we'll adjust it if we need to. Because let's see here. Let's see from a side view. Let's go to the side here. From a side view, let's go and let's get rid of the grid so you can see. So let's say that you're inside the Pokemon Center, and Lovejoy is right here. This is the counter space, right, from the inside. This is you coming in from the inside. There's gotta be a counter space here. Yeah, so I mean, obviously this is probably gonna have to move back a bit more to go like that, right? Got the counter. There's like a lineup or something to get your Pokemon healed up. I'm just completely role playing here. I have no idea if that would be the case or not. But yeah, I mean, I've been a long time Pokemon fan. I'll be honest though, I haven't been playing. I haven't been fully caught up on the new Pokemon stuff. I'm sure all the new Pokemon stuff is cool. Just it's hard to find time to catch up on all the games that you want. And you know, I've been following the series for so long. I figured it'd be a good time for me to go and play and experience other video games. So yeah, so I think that should be good. I don't want to overthink this too much. And I have like a new mic stand thing, so hopefully this makes recording a lot easier for me. But hopefully the quality of the audio is okay for you guys at least. All right, so I'm gonna start with the door. I'm gonna start with the door. So we got the basic block out, right? That's really important. Got a reference, which is really important. I'm gonna start doing the door of this place. So I'm gonna bring this down, and like I said, I'm not gonna be going super high poly on this or anything like that. So if you guys are expecting to see some high poly models, probably not gonna happen. Just an FYI. So let's focus on the door. And I'm gonna try and keep some of your guys' feedback in mind. A lot of you guys have brought up the fact that I kind of click and go everywhere, so I'm gonna try not to do that so much when I'm recording. It's just how I model, unfortunately, like just naturally. So I'm gonna try not to do it. Okay, so I'm just gonna extrude. There you go. That's the door. I'm also going to do the same here. I'm just going to extrude inwards. This is going to be the window. Should roughly be the same size. I'm just going to extrude again. I'm going to bring it out. Actually, this is a window. This should probably go in. Yeah. There we go. So there we have is the door. Now what I don't like is autosave. Yes, please. I've been losing a lot of my work the past few days due to just Maya just crashing when I'm using subdivisions. So I have made it a habit now just to try and save as much as I possibly can. Pokemon Center. Here we go. But so far with this new mic stand, I'm not too sure how I feel about it just yet. I feel like the audio quality hasn't really improved, but we'll see. We'll talk about that another time. I'll let you guys be the judge of it. I just feel like the mic needs to be a lot closer to me for it to be effective, and at the moment I just don't feel like it's kind of doing what I need it to do. But so here we have the door. I feel like I need to add that on. Okay, so it's definitely missing kind of the cylinder for like the knob. So I'm just gonna do that, and I won't go too cheap on it. Like, I'm not just gonna get cylinder here. I think I'm just gonna, it looks like a knob, so let's make it, and let's not make this too high poly. Like, this doesn't need to be super high poly. Just gonna soften up all the edges here and just kind of place it where it needs to go. There we go. And just kind of crash it in. I mean, when you look at it like that, it looks great, right? So here's our little door, and I'm just going to clean this up, group it all. This is going to be the pokey center underscore door, and I'm just gonna, so there you go. So now we have the Pokemon Center door. Kind of crash that back. Oh, press up. That's kind of the little quick shortcut or hotkey there, is if you press up on your selection, and it's all in, and it's in a group, it will select the next parent or whatever, or like the group master that's on top of it. So there we go. So we got the Pokemon Center door there. Now I'm gonna create kind of like the sign, and so let's see. So what I'm gonna adjust something, since I'm noticing it now. I'm going to adjust this a tad bit, because I'm noticing into the reference image of the old school Pokemon Center, so the sign's relatively big, and then this kind of gets cut off a tad. So I'm gonna make that adjustment now while I can, and so I'm gonna create this sign. So the sign is actually kind of like built a little bit in, so this is also gonna kind of move in like this with the door actually. And so the sign is going to go on this wall, so that still needs to be a wall. I'm actually going to take this block, and I'm going to make this the sign. So hopefully that kind of works out. The sign's a little bit too big, obviously, but yeah, hopefully you guys like what I'm doing here. It's a huge sign. Now that I'm looking at it, it's a massive sign, and it needs to be longer too. Yeah, it definitely needs to be longer. I feel like right now it's definitely not long enough. So I might have to make some adjustments here. I might have to move this out a bit more. Man, this is a huge sign. I mean, they definitely didn't want you to miss the Pokemon Center back when we were kids. Yeah, that is pretty large. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go with my gut here. My gut's telling me that this feels right, so I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna adjust everything else to kind of fit this new discovery that I have here. Okay, so I almost feel like this needs to be, no, that should be good. That should be good. So this is the Pokemon Center sign. It's obviously not gonna, it shouldn't crash into there. I mean, obviously that's what it looks like, but it shouldn't. And I'm gonna center pivot, and obviously it has some legs to it to kind of keep it right. So I'm gonna do that as well. It's got some legs. It's got two little pegs that needs to crash into it to kind of keep it up for support. So I'm gonna quickly do that right now. And if you guys like this episode, then I'll go forward and I'll go in and I'll texture it in like Substance Painter, throw on some like the brick textures and stuff, and kind of finish it off. There you go. So now we have our little Pokemon Center sign. I feel like it's jotting out a little bit too much, so I need to kind of adjust this right now. Okay, and I feel like there's just a lot of jaggedy lines going on here, so I'm just going to select my camera, go to attribute editor, and I'm gonna change the near clip plane here. I'm gonna change this to like 0.1. Nope, change this to 1, just so that there's not too much, because it was doing like, see this right here, so I'm just gonna change this maybe to like 5. Yeah, just so that it doesn't, whoa, but now it's like skewing my camera, so maybe that's not the greatest idea. Camera skim, so I'll go back to 1. Already it's doing a lot better. Far clip, I'm gonna go near clip and go, just go point, no, so this one, let's go 10. Just to try and minimize that, just to try and minimize some of the the weirdness that's going on. So that seemed to have done the trick. Okay, so we have our sign. I feel like I need to move this wall back more, and I need to move this door, the Pokemon Center door, back in a bit more, just like that. There you go. Alright, so we got that going on. We got the next level is just gonna be brick, so I don't have to really model that. I can just create a really good like texture in like Substance Designer or something. And then for this one, this needs to have some work done. This needs some windows, so that should be relatively easy. The windows are pretty like cubes and boxy, so I'm just gonna, I can probably just duplicate this, to be honest. First I should keep all this stuff organized, so I like to go to my outliner, keep everything kind of Pokemon Center sign, and I'm gonna just, probably don't need that. The windows, from what I can tell, it looks like the windows are popping out, which is kind of weird. From like the super old school Pokemon game, and there's 6 windows. 6 windows. So I gotta try and figure out how to make sure that there I can get 6 windows to fit across the whole width here. And it's perfectly squared, so I don't think, oh no, this is perfectly squared. Okay. How am I gonna fit 6 windows on here? Okay, so let's see. So can I fit 6 windows? 1, 2. No, that's already way too. Okay, so I need to make it smaller for sure. Okay, so that was just me using the Shift D trick. And so now if I scale, wait, hold on, how come it didn't, oh, it's duplicate special that I need to do. Edit, duplicate, Control Shift D is what I need. Yep, Control Shift D. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Whoa, what's going on here? What just happened? Okay, so I have 4 of these. No, I don't want 4 of these. Control Shift D, so duplicate special. I want 5 copies of it. Translated. Okay, hold on. Let me just duplicate 1. So that was at 7. Okay, let me just freeze the transform on this. Freeze the transforms on it. Let's move it 115, let's say. 115 on the x-axis. So I'm just going to duplicate special. 115. I need 5 copies. Let's apply it. Okay, yeah, so now you're going to see that it's off, right? So I'm just going to skew these down a bit. It's got this Z. Okay, hold on. It's got this Z. The Z transforms on it, which I don't want. This is probably from a different. Yeah, there we go. Click on this, duplicate special. There we go. Now it's all in the same line on the axes, and I can scale these down now. Move these over. Right. I can also move all these over as well manually. And let's see how that affects it. Still looks like it's not going to fit. So let's go something like that. I think that should be good. Let's see. Move these over. These are some small windows. Yep, these are pretty small. These are pretty small. This is pretty small. So what I'm going to do, I'm looking at the image now, and when I'm going on like this view that they have for it, it just doesn't seem like that's the right scale for it. So let's go like that. And yeah, no, that should be a lot better. And I'm gonna add another edge loop here, and I'm going to take this face and I'm gonna extrude it. Looks like there's like a lip here, so I'm gonna add that lip as well, and I want to move this face down a smidge, and I'm gonna go to the side view to make this more accurate. There. And then I'm also gonna move these down more, kind of give it that thickness that it needs. Just because I'm noticing that there's like an overhang to the Pokemon Center. And but yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty low poly, so I think I'm gonna spruce this up just a tad bit. I'm noticing that this is a little bit out of proportion. The Pokemon sign is actually a lot more down, like that. So I'm gonna bring that down. And even though this is like pretty old school, I'm noticing now that they did do a bit of shading on the stuff. So I'm gonna start adding some bevels just to kind of match. I mean, no one's ever gonna see the back side of this model, I don't think. So I don't have to worry too much about this. But like, everyone's probably gonna see the 3D model like that. I'm probably never really gonna show the back part. We'll just do that just in case. Okay. I feel that this still needs to come out a tad bit more. There. Okay, so when I start adding a little bit more like bevels and stuff like that to the model, just because right now it looks super old school, and I mean, yeah, it is a bit old school, but it's not to this extent. Like, this is what's going on here. Around this, it's probably because the scaling is all off right now. Yeah, the scale's probably all off, so I'm just gonna have to kind of add this stuff myself. So I'm just gonna go like that. Just add some bevels to the whole model, because if you look at the image, it actually isn't like that old school. I mean, it is old school, but it's not like, it's not like a flat image. The Game Boy had some shading to it, so I'm gonna add that to the model here. Really? Oh, okay, right. Because this is bumped out. It almost seems like, yeah, because there's some shadows going on in there, so I'm gonna keep that as is. Just gonna move this edge up. I'm gonna move this back to match this end here. There we go. So now we got more of like a nice beveled shape going on, which kind of adds a little bit, a lot more depth to the whole place. And I'm also gonna try, and hopefully this works. This bevel hasn't really been working very well here today. Fractions 3.1. There we go. It's a fraction. So the fraction is 0.1. It's still not looking. Let's say 1. No, that's a little bit too much. Let's go 0.5. Yeah, 0.5 looks pretty good. Yeah, 0.5 looks pretty good. There's obviously some endgons going on, so I'm just gonna, I'll do the cleanup afterwards. I always like to, actually no, I'll do it right now. There's some Z fighting going on up top. Delete that. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side as well. Same kind of thing here, bevel it. And I'm going to go 0.5. I don't know why my bevel is like such a low setting. I'll have to fix that. Something like that. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Let's see. So if I just go like this, I'm going to click an edge, bevel edge. And it says 0.1 is the width, which is not what I want. Let's go 0.1 like that. And let's save the settings and then bevel it. There we go. Right, and then I'm just gonna go 0.0. No, 0.0. No, that's even less. Let's go 0.1 was too big, so let's go 0.05. Half that. Yeah, it's almost there. Let's go 0.3. 0.4 it is. And I mean, I can always adjust this, right? I can always adjust that. Just move it so it snaps right in. It's not that big of an issue. Right, and then I'll do the same thing for for this side as well. Bevel 2. Fraction, I think it was like 0.04, I think. 0.04. Right, and then I'll just move this over by snapping it to the other vertices. Thank God for this autosave feature. Every 10 minutes. It's a little bit annoying sometimes, but man, does it save you a lot of headaches in the future. So if I add the bevel to this side, I'm going to need to be very careful, because obviously I'm going to have to adjust my windows, which is going to be okay. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to bevel that. Again, just snapping it over so that it aligns beautifully with the other one. And now for this is going to be a little bit more tricky, but it has to be done just so that it matches the building. So let's see here. So I'm going to bevel it. So it's going to create like a weird kind of bevel here. So I might have to kind of create my own cuts. So I'm going to insert an edge loop here and an edge loop over there. I'll also do the same thing on this side as well. And I'll snap everything accordingly. So there you go. And I'll snap this edge to this edge there. And that should already be snapped from the other side. And then I'm just going to snap this to that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this. Nope, so that's not going to work either. Okay, so the easiest thing that I can do is I can, yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to separate the roof. Have the roof as its own piece. And then just crash it into the geo. So I'm just gonna select the, oh, what the hell did I just select? I selected something that I didn't want. Okay, let's just double check to make sure everything that I want selected is selected. So I'm going to 4 here. Yep, okay. I'm gonna extract it. So let's go extract faces. I'm gonna check the options, separate, extract face, sure. Okay, so now it's its own shape. Right? So this is like the roof, and this is the just the support, like it supports the wood, right? I'm going to delete, I'm just gonna isolate this here, yeah. So I'm just going to delete that there, delete that there as well, delete all the polys I don't need, and now I'm just gonna do my bevel as originally planned. Now it's doing some weird stuff, but I'll fix that in a sec. Right now it says that it doesn't have a material, so it's acting weird. I'm just gonna add a Lambert one to it again. If you guys ever have that issue, just that's how you fix it. You just gotta reapply a material to it. It gets confused because it just got split up. There you have it. So now we have that, and now I'm just gonna crash this in like that, right? And there is an overhang, which is something that I completely missed here. So there is an overhang to the Pokemon Center, so I'm just gonna make a little small overhang. And there you go. And I'm actually gonna simplify a bunch of this. Like this is just like, now this is just too many polys for something that I don't need. So I just collapsed the edges. I'm just gonna collapse the edges there, right? So now we just have the center part, and the windows are hanging out now on the side. So I'm just gonna push this in. Push this in. There you go. So this is no. I was gonna say I feel pretty good about this, but I want to give some more kind of bevels and some more edges here to the roof. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add a little bit more triangles here. So I'm gonna bevel this a bit more. Let's see. Yeah, so this isn't like, it feels like it's left out as well. Uh-oh, there's some things missing here. There's some faces missing. So I'm just gonna select the 2 edges that I want. I'm gonna use a bridge tool to bridge the gap, right? There we go. And what I like about the bridge tool is that it actually merges your vertices. So yeah, pretty handy. I'm gonna put a Lambert on there. And this has the bevel, so I'm gonna adjust the bevel so that it's a little bit more. So the fraction of 0.1, let's go 0.5. And I think I'm gonna do the same thing for the bottom. No, it's okay. The bottom no one's really ever gonna see, so I'm gonna leave it like that. And I'm actually gonna soften it, because even in the old school version of the Pokemon Center, the roof is surprisingly, it's like a soft, rounded off edge. So I'm gonna go to two contained two edges. I'm just gonna go soften edge, and it's gonna create this kind of weird. I didn't like that, so I'm just going to maybe just soften this edge. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so this is kind of like, this is almost done. I mean, you know what, I'm gonna add some bevels to this window as well, just because I'm noticing again in the reference image that there is surroundedness to this, and because this is duplicated, made with the duplicate special, when I change this window, it's gonna change all the other ones, right? So that's gonna save me tons and tons of time. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna adjust one, and it's gonna do it to all of them. So it's a really handy tool to kind of use, and I'll be honest, I don't use this enough as well. So it's definitely worth using. So I'm gonna add 2 segments to this to kind of give it a more rounded look. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna keep it more old school. Let's just keep it like that. Just keep it like that. Kind of give it that little tiny bevel, but not too much of it. And then I'm gonna go fraction. Let's go like 0.2. No, that's too much. That's too much. Let's go 1.5. There we go. And I'm gonna just make sure that there's no end gons or 5-sided faces, whatever you guys want to call it. Just gonna cut this like that, and there we go. So that's the wireframe of it. That's what it looks like right now. Obviously, with some textures and some love, this thing would look pretty cool. I'm just gonna quickly look at the reference image here to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. What I'm gonna do is, I'm noticing with the reference is that there's 2 different kind of textures to the roof. So I'm gonna just separate that right now while I can, to make this easier. And there we go. But yeah, I think all in all, this is pretty much the Pokemon Center. Just the modeling portion of it. And you know, if this video does really well, what I'll do is I'll actually go in and I'll throw into Substance Designer or Substance Painter, most likely Substance Painter, and I'll just pretty it up in there, putting some textures on it, and then we'll call it that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys for all the support. 500 subscribers. See you guys again next time.